if you raise sales tax on goods, are you live?
Yeah, we just went live. We can keep grapping.
Um,
Grapping is what old men do best.
yeah, but they just don't realize that
What do they need the money for?
some bullshit that they have. We have a pro football team that we give them money. We have a pro hockey team that's getting a hell of a lot of money, and we have a minor league baseball team that got a lot of money to build a daggum stadium.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Grumpy Old Man Show.
Good morning, Maggie, Anissa, Bum Crack, Lag.
Anissa. Is it Anissa or Anissa? How do you say
I
that?
don't know. I'm gonna call her Annie.
Annie? Just so you don't call her dumbass.
That's right. Hey,
Hey,
Carol.
Carol. Everybody's showing up this morning. We got Bum Crack. We got Lag. Oh, I got Tom started talking about taxes because October 15th is my deadline for turning in my 2021 taxes because my accountant got me an extension, which is fine because it's going to be the same amount no matter when I pay it. But I just look at the amount I pay in federal income tax. I'm like, really, federal government, you can't live on how much I give you?
Hey,
And if
chick.
all people in the same income level that I am are paying that much, we can't make ends meet up there in Washington D.C. You sorry suck frickin' crapping politicians and bankers and
Well,
oh my God.
you know,
And let's just forgive student loans and let's just bail out banks and let's just on and on and on.
well, North
Let's pay
Carolina, if
people
you,
to stay home and not work.
if you get if you live in North Carolina and you get your $10,000 forgiveness on your student loans, you're going to pay income tax on it, which is not going to be near, nowhere near the $10,000, but it's not going to be free.
Golly. My aunt, what, 30, 40 years ago, God rest her soul, said, if you got a little money, the government just wants to take it away from you. And that is so true. Anyway,
And they don't show where, really. It's like there's been a bunch of articles in the paper about the colleges. They're running short of money because enrollment in universities is dropping. And they're talking about they might have to lay off some professors and whatnot.
oh,
Well, I have a friend that's a professor and she teaches 3 classes a week. A week.
yeah,
And she makes about $190,000 a year.
college professor is the easiest job in America.
Well, and another thing too is more school districts are doing like Charlotte has, where we have what we call the middle college or early college, depending on which county you're in or school district you're in. Juniors and seniors can take college level classes, and if you do it, your counselor does it right, you can graduate from high school with your associate's degree. I mean, like Vanya graduated with his associate's degree from college a week before he graduated from high school because that's just the way the graduations was. That
Morning,
saved him
James.
fifty. That saved him $50,000, and it boosted up because it's worked. All this is worked through our community college, um, and they are these classes have to be accepted by the University of North Carolina or the North Carolina University system.
Dang, Maggie, that sucks. They cashed your check, but they show that it's not received. Golly. So let's hire more of them to goof it up even worse. How about that, Maggie? Let's hire 86,000 more IRS agents so they can screw it up even more than it is.
Maggie, if nobody will answer your call, you need to call your damn congressman and your senator and give them hell, and tell them the next thing you're going to do is you're going to call the Philadelphia Inquirer or whatever the hell they're called, and tell them what's going on. You know, these damn senators and congressmen, they have a gravy job. They make good money and they have good perks. They need to start doing their damn job.
Yep.
So there's my rant right there.
By God.
My dad, I'm fortunate enough that my dad contributed enough to a couple of congressmen and senators from North Carolina, from South Carolina, that if I have too big of a problem, I can't get any results through my people.
Hey, Sadie. So, Maggie, what'd you do? Walk around with an earphone from your phone stuck in your ear for 6 hours waiting on the callback or the... Dang. Stimulus payments.
You need to call you Dewey, Cheatham, and Howell and find out if you can file a lawsuit against them for fraud. The head of the IRS, you need to have him arrested for fraud.
Ugh. I just look at the amount I pay and I'm like, God. The amount I'm paying this year in taxes, I didn't make that much in a yearly paycheck until I'd been teaching like 10 years, 15 years. Of course, it's Gwen and me together, so she makes some money.
You know,
taxes didn't pay for the stimmies. Money printing paid for the stimmies. Come on, lag, you don't know what you're talking about right there. They can't pay to keep our roads going. Why are they giving money away for stimulus?
Especially when everybody's short of help. There is a congressman from North Carolina, and he's working with a congressman out of Tennessee. They're wanting to drop the cap on Social Security. You know, if you're not 66 and a half, you can only make so much money a year. If you're drawing Social Security, they're wanting to drop that cap. So the old people that have got a work ethic, if they get a job, they don't have to worry about it. Well, that's it, Mr. Sadie. If I've taken every legal deduction that I can, and I've made money, even though I have to pay some tax money, I don't like it, but I can be happy with it because I did make money after paying the taxes. I don't like it, but I'll be okay. That's the reason everybody that can take a daggum, anybody that can take a business trip, take that sucker. Run up those tax deductions legally. Don't, as it stands right now, don't mess with the gray area. Try to stay out of that. But Roberta and I were talking about, because I was telling Roberta, I said, I tried to see if I could get some interest in taking a group cruise. And she says, well, you can write it off as a tax deduction. I said, no, because you got to have like 6 hours a day has got to be related to business. So you got to have 6 hours a day programming. If I go on a cruise, I sure as hell don't want to listen to Todd or Scott or Bridget or any of the other really good, really successful resellers. I don't want to listen to their crap in a daggum ballroom someplace inside of a cruise ship. That's just my opinion. So there be. Where the hell did Todd go? So that's my opinion. This is Monday Morning Rant.
And guess what time of year it is, Tom?
What's that? Yeah, believe me.
How annoying is all the junk mail you're getting in for Medicare right now?
You know what? I should have started one of these damn boxes I got around here and started throwing all the junk mail about Medicare in there. And then because I'll have a trash can full of it.
Yeah.
I mean, and God forbid anybody calls and it doesn't have like who you are. Because if it doesn't,
Reselling.
if Roberta's, if it says, if the phone says spam alert, or I have this big old button over here, you push a button and it blocks that number. And I think right now we've got about 1,400 numbers in that thing. Since I started getting close to being 65. That and people wanting to buy my house, which I've been telling people $900,000 that they can have it. What? Man, the zoning has changed. You can, if you've got the money, you can put a bunch of damn apartments on my little lot. So that just made the value of it go way up.
Yeah, I'd take a lot of tax advantage. You know what?
You just have
If
to
it
show a
wasn't
profit every
for
3 years, right? At least once in 3 years, you have to show a profit.
what are you talking about?
Huh?
Yeah, my tax gal, she does a pretty good job. The only problems I have with my tax lady is she waits till the very last second, so I get worried. I mean, she's done it every year for the last 4 or 5. I don't know why I worry about it, but what is today, the 10th, and taxes are due Monday. The check's got to be in the mail on Monday, right?
Yep.
So I'm like, we need to get this done. I guarantee you she'll do the same thing next year. But I mean, she does a good job. She's found me a lot of business deductions, especially when we first started.
Are we talking about
reselling.
A big amount of money, Todd?
Well, just especially the stuff with eBay reselling, because I didn't know all the tax breaks that were out there. So I knew some of them, but I didn't know all of them.
My car warranty. When people call about my car warranty and I actually talk to somebody, I say, I don't worry about it. If I have to have something done on my car, I just have it done and then slap my debit card down. I don't worry about it. Well, you could be saving money. I'm not worried about it. And then they hang up.
Lag, how rich do you think I am?
He should be doing pretty damn good, Hatney Lag. He's taken 2 big old trips in the last 2 years.
Shoot.
Plus a cruise.
Yeah, we took a cruise and we went to Europe. But
And what gets me is I'm on this do not call list, you know, and
yeah,
hell, we still get calls.
oh, of course you do. Lag thinks I'm rich. That's
I guess I got up too early this morning. I've just had too much time to think about all this crap and get all worked up.
yeah, I know. But I would hate to think what life would be like without reselling, man. I'd get by, and if I didn't have some smart investments, and if I didn't have um, some eBay reselling as side income, things would be tight around here. Real tight. I wouldn't be going to Europe.
And that's
I'd be
just
wanting.
it. I
I'd be
just want.
wondering how am I going to pay my property tax? That's what I'd be doing. I'd be going. I got to save up for my property tax. I can't go out to eat. Take my wife out to eat. I got to worry about my property tax.
Look what
Can't
Mr. Sadie said.
can't get a beer with my meal because I'm worried about my property tax payments.
Well, you know, North Carolina ticks me off about a lot of things, but you know, retirement,
Sadie.
Social Security is not taxed in North Carolina. It is federal, but it's not state. Because that means that what they're trying to do is they're trying to get all these retirees to move to North Carolina, which means that their lifespan is pretty short, so they'll be getting all that estate tax money.
Mm. Uh, there isn't one now, Lag. Not a single one. The only good investments I have now are ones that I bought 20, 30, 40 years ago. And they're not keeping up with inflation, but it's better than just sitting there holding cash.
Well, I have a little piece of dirt down in South Carolina. If push comes to shove, I can put me a camper on it with my solar panels and grow me a garden, and I'll be just happy as can be. Yeah, Lag. All this is just a set behind me. I'm really on my yacht down in the Caribbean. $24K, you know, that's like the stock market. And with all that's been happening since 2008, I really have a bad opinion of the stock market. I think it's a Ponzi scheme. So here's my deal. If you want to send me $10,000, you might get you might get some of it back. You might not. That's the way it is. So, like, why don't you send me a bunch of money and I'll invest it for you. And if it makes any money, you'll get returns back on it. If not, I'll enjoy my trip on my yacht down in the Caribbean.
Hey, 24K.
Now, is he one of your stacker buddies?
Sure, yeah.
Okay.
Except he kind of quit buying so much gold and silver, and he started buying fancy watches instead. Getting diversified. He's gonna buy 3 more wives. That's an income boost there, is it there?
Maybe it is over there. Mr. Sadie, are you selling your wife off, or are you selling off your granddaughters? Which I think they're real little, so real young.
24K still got kids in like middle school and high school age.
Yeah, the thing that 24K just posted about his visa. I was watching a YouTube video about citizenship by investment in like a lot of the Caribbean countries. You know, you buy $300,000 worth of real estate down there, you can get your citizenship. Good morning, Beth. $24K, are you like a sailor? You got a wife in every port? Oh, that'd be a homely wife, Mr. Sadie.
Everyone sells citizenship, even America. American citizenship cost $1.5 million. No, it's free. All you got to do is come here across the border.
All you got to do is come over here and have a child.
No, you don't even have to do that anymore. You just come on over when we hand you a check and then give you a place to stay. And
24K's done some research on buying passports, buying citizenships. Oh, your mother's an American. Okay.
Beth, you gonna do a working hangout? Is that what you're talking about? When I asked immigration,
You not have can you not get a U.S. passport since your mother is an American?
He's probably like an international spy. They got a passport in every country. They'll ship you off. Yeah, whatever happened to those immigrants they shipped to Martha's Vineyard? Did they ship them off somewhere
They shipped
else?
them somewhere else.
So where are they? Are they like in a hotel in Kansas City or something, or what?
I don't know. They just kind of dropped off the radar, which I don't listen to the news because it makes me mad.
Where did they put them? Aren't there like thousands now? They got bust out of Texas and Arizona and stuff.
They're not. What's his name? DeSantis is not busting anybody. He's flying them. They're chartering jets and flying them all over the country.
Get them out of here. Yeah.
Well, my
We've had
son,
our share.
um,
I remember about 40 years ago, whenever it was, Bill Clinton's first term. He said, "No, we're going to pay for everybody's education in Texas." So, yeah, before that, immigrants are supposed to pay school tuition, or illegal aliens were supposed to pay school tuition, but at least Bill Clinton, he tried to balance a budget. He wasn't the worst Democrat out of the bunch.
he was not a bad president. I have to say but he and the Republican held Congress and Senate worked well together. 24K. My oldest son was born in Russia. My twins were born in Ukraine, and we made sure they had U.S. passports before they turned 18, just to make sure all their citizenship paperwork was uh, in order, and all their all the adoption paperwork, their passports, they're all held in a safe here at the house. And if they go someplace they need their passport, they check their passports out, and when they get back, they get them back. They give them back to us. I told them, when I take my last breath, and then their mother takes her last breath, then they can have all their paperwork. Up until then, I know it's in a safe place. Because if Sergey and the twins were still in Ukraine and Russia, they would be fighting in a war right now.
Mm-hmm.
So because I tell them that's one thing you're going to have to do is to make sure those passports are stayed in order. Well, I tell you what, for $1.2 million, I will sell you a citizenship to the Principality of Huxistan, Tomatopia.
Mm.
I don't have a mail order bride.
It's not just a totally insane idea for Texas to just secede from the Union and just have the Republic of Texas again.
Well, that's what they keep threatening to do.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, but I think life would be better in Texas if that happened.
Well, that's just it. 24K. You pay income tax. If you're a U.S. citizen, you pay your income tax everywhere.
That's right, 24K. Y'all still have some vacation properties in Texas, don't you? Vacation destinations. Yeah, Lake
You're right,
Como.
Mr. Sadie. And it's all going to come busting. It's all going to come tumbling down. I was
Like,
watching a thing on Chicago. The Bears are moving to a suburb. They're moving out of downtown Chicago. And that's got the mayor all in a damn tailspin. Because the stadium's not big enough, and the crime is real bad around there. So they're moving out to Arlington. I believe it's Arlington.
Hmm.
They're building a big old stadium out there.
Well, I know that the U.S. is better than Italy right now. You should have seen the people sleeping in doorways.
You know, and I don't understand why. I mean, I don't want them down here. I don't want them to be homeless, period. But I don't know why all these homeless folks stay in like New York and Chicago and all these cold as hell down places. Hell, I'm not homeless and I don't want to live up there because of the weather. Move on down to Alabama.
It is kind of sad that illegal immigrants are better off than homeless Americans.
Well, I was watching this excuse me, this thing on TV. And this woman was talking about children in cages in Texas are a lot better off than a lot better off than a lot of kids in the United States because they're getting 3 meals a day. They're not living out in the weather. And
Shut up, lag.
what do you say?
That's not what they would spend the money on if they raised taxes.
Shit, they're not going to help nobody. They're just going to keep spending it on BS.
Lag's just trying to stir shit up.
You know, United States is the only people where we have fat poor people, or the world has fat poor people. And yeah, I said fat people because I am a fat people, and so I'm not slamming anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
I have a friend who's got a family member that owns a ranch in South Texas. And one of those immigrant buses pulled up to their property and had I don't know, the bus had a mechanical problem or something. So they went out and talked to the folks a little bit, and each one of those people had like a check from the government for like $3,600. Every man, woman, and child. So if you brought over like 5 children, stayed over here for a month, then went back to Mexico, then come back again in about a year. Just keep doing that.
Back when I did a bunch of merchandising for a company, I was in and out of Walmart all the time. And when you turn into a Walmart parking lot, you know, or off into, if it's got a side street that goes to the Walmart, there was always people there with their signs out wanting money. And I went into when I was finished at what I was doing, and I went over and got some paperwork signed by the manager. And I said, "Let me ask you something. What is the deal with all Walmart and having all these homeless people these people standing out at the entrance to the Walmart with their signs up saying they needed money for food and whatnot?" And he said, "Are they out there again?" And I said, "Well, yeah, they are, but they're everywhere." He said, "They're trespassing because the way the shopping center is set up." He said, "They're trespassing." He said, the police have already taken off 5 or 6 people out there. And he's like, because people do not want, especially people that don't have a lot of money, and they're shopping here because they can get a better deal on stuff. He says they don't want to watch somebody else just sit out there wanting money when everybody and their brothers got help, help wanted signs out.
Yeah.
Podunk, Pennsylvania. We have a Podunk, North Carolina, and South Carolina too. But it just, I don't know. I guess I'm just old and cantankerous, and I've been up too early. I got up too early this morning, even though I got a lot of stuff accomplished. I'm just in a foul mood this morning.
Well, I kind of started you off that way, griping about my tax lady brought over my taxes yesterday, so I'm like, freaking racking crapping tax.
What?
Carol
24K.
trying to
If you were
change the
born in
subject.
Hawaii, how are you not a U.S. citizen? You need to get you a good. You need to call Dewey Cheatham and Howe, that's got a big citizenship department, and give them some coin and get them to get that straightened out.
Carol, my third quarter was good, but ever since we went on vacation, my eBay has tanked bad.
Oh, that was a joke about Hawaii.
Yeah, that's where Obama was born, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Never mind.
I'm with you.
A mood changer to start the week. Yeah, what's going good in America? I can still breathe the air and drink the water.
Yeah. And
good.
We're not at war with our neighboring countries. And when I say war, I'm talking about, guns and cannons and. Where were you born at? Or did you say, and I just too thick this morning, I didn't see it?
I think he was born in Saudi, but he was raised mostly in the U.S. I don't know I think that's right.
I didn't think you had to apply. Oh, you were born in Saudi, okay. But your mother's an American.
Says he was born in Lebanon.
Lebanon. Okay, well, that's still not the U.S. of A. He was a diplomat.
Diplomat from Saudi. So he never gave up his Saudi citizenship, I think.
I was watching I binge watched it one weekend. Madam Secretary and the TV show, and she would use this thing. These diplomats, they had children going to American schools and prep schools and all this kind of stuff, and they're really good, doing really well and whatnot. She was quick to say, I have the power to deport you and your children, your family, out of the United States of America. And then they would bend to her, they would make a little bit better effort to get things accomplished. But that would have to be tough for a diplomat that has lived over here, like at the embassy or at the United Nations. They're living here. Their kids are going to school here. They're growing up here, and then all of a sudden they get, for political reasons, there's a fallout, and people have to get the hell out of the country. That would be tough. That was the liberal, sensitive side of me coming out.
So,
born in a Chevy? I thought you meant you were born in Chevy, Maryland, or someplace like that. But you were talking about a Chevrolet.
Yeah, he's from the United States of GMC. Actually, Chevy wasn't GMC until when? That was after Sadie was born. When did Chevy become part of GMC? It's been a long time. In the 80s, early 80s, something like that. All those companies came together, Plymouth and no, not Plymouth.
20 General
what
Motors.
all of,
Wait a minute.
you're born in a Honda.
They acquired Chevrolet in 1918.
Women are smarter than men. There you go. Except for Carol. Carol's not that smart.
Yeah, she packs a cat in the cold weather, so I don't know how smart that is. Let's see. Damn it, Todd. What'd you ask at?
What I ask what?
About when did Chevy become part of GMC? Because I just
Well,
fell down a hole.
there was GMC and they had like Ram, right? Ram trucks.
No, Ram Trucks is Chrysler.
Oh, cross it. Never mind. What they had? Just GMC trucks, General Motors Company trucks.
Let's see. Here's a quickie story.
Yes, you are. I was just
Bill
teasing
Durant formed. He had a carriage maker called Durant Dort Carriage Company. In 1908, he incorporated Buick into a new entity, General Motors, which by the end of the decade had welcomed other leading auto manufacturers,
Yeah,
Oldsmobile, Cadillac, Oakland.
Oldsmobile, Cadillac, Buick, Chevrolet. Is that the four big companies that became GMC?
Yeah.
And then didn't Jeep become GMC?
No, Jeep is Chrysler.
Jeep is Chrysler, yeah.
They were AMC, and they went to
Yeah, they weren't AMC very long.
right. They were owned by AMC, and then AMC folded, and Chrysler bought them. You know, I was reading an article about, because I read all kinds of crap. AMC had an Eagle, which was a four-wheel drive station wagon.
Mm-hmm.
And it never caught on because people just didn't see a need to have a four-wheel drive station wagon. And now every place you look, you see a four-wheel drive station wagon because you can call them SUVs, but they're trucks built on they're a station wagon built on a truck chassis. And then some of them are not even truck chassis.
Yeah, no, I think the reason the Eagles failed is they were just a chunk of metal and a motor and a four-wheel drive. There wasn't any. I mean, they weren't nice cars. They were just plain.
Well, at the end, AMC was using General Motors transmissions and Ford engines, and let's see here.
Eagles won yesterday. So the Cowboys. Cowboys are 4-1. I couldn't believe it.
Damn, in 1982 AMC.
Yeah, Philadelphia Eagles are about the only unbeaten team.
I don't watch football. It's too boring. What's the name of Charlotte's football team? Panthers.
Yeah, when did the New York Giants get good? that surprised the heck out of me.
San
They beat
Francisco beat the Panthers yesterday.
the Giants beat uh, Green Bay and they play at Wembley Stadium. They were somewhere. They were in London or somewhere.
Panthers are 1-4. I don't watch football. Listen, what's mine?
Yeah. Texas Rangers let the season get away too. They would just give up too many walks and too many people made it to base. You can't overcome that. Just letting people get on base. They hit pretty good and they weren't horrible at defense. But Mike, look, Mike made it before the end of the show.
Hey, Mike. My mom is a Braves fan. Lord, and she turned 88 yesterday.
Yeah, happy birthday, Mom.
um, and Todd, you're not even as old as my older brother. I have an older brother that'll be 70 this year. She's a big Braves fan, and she watched every game, their playoffs they had or whatever. She watched every game in the last couple of weeks. I'd call her and I'd say, "What you doing, Mom?" And she says, "I'm watching the baseball game. Call me back later." Yes, ma'am. I'll call you tomorrow. But she turned 88.
Hey, Mark, isn't it your birthday today? Where did Mark go? He wasn't in. He just made one comment, I think. Storage-stacker, are you still on here? Isn't it your birthday today? Happy birthday, if it is. Mark is a couple of months older than me. I'm not the oldest one.
My younger brother took my mom
Tom's so old that he's called
down
baby
to where
Jesus.
she grew up. Yeah, Glock. And I'm like, Mom, I didn't even know you were watching the games again. My younger brother took her down to where she grew up down in Conway, South Carolina, which is where I was born, which is right beside Myrtle Beach. If just give you all a reference.
Oh, the post office is closed, but the stock market is open.
What's the holiday today?
Columbus Day, Indigenous Peoples Day.
I
saw a meme of a Native American lady giving the finger, "F you, Columbus." The caption read, "F you,
Columbus didn't
Columbus."
even ever come to North America. I mean, he never came to the States.
Well, he discovered America.
He was in the Caribbean though.
Yeah, but we got the
The
U.S.
Vikings. The Vikings discovered America.
Old Leif Erikson. Leif. How do you say his name? Is it Leif or Leif? Doesn't matter, I guess.
Life. No, I was not there. Sometimes I feel like it, but I wasn't. Because if I did, whatever island he discovered would be called Tomatopia now, and not whatever it's called.
Mike, if the stock market goes down 50%, there won't be any companies with stock to sell. Dun, dun. Yeah, my wife talked me into eating the apple. There you go.
Yeah, the Bahamas would be called Tomatopia if I had been there.
Mm-hmm.
Todd, tell him how God kicked you out of heaven because of your spitting. Todd, you got to quit that dipping snuff now. That's just nasty.
Yeah, gotta have some vices.
You gamble. You're an eBayer.
I
That's
was
that's
on
gambling.
I was on Victoria's channel this morning and complained, I'm doing 2.5 miles on the treadmill and I can't lose weight. And Craig spouted off and said, well, you're not, Todd, you're not supposed to drink beer while you're on the treadmill. So I came right back and said, well, if you weren't supposed to drink beer while you're on the treadmill, why'd they put 2 cup holders on the treadmill?
That's for your water.
That's for water?
For your water, not water.
What's
for your
water
water.
for? Water's for people who can't afford beer.
That's right. Yesterday, I was playing around with
Yeah, Glock says, Tom, mind your own business. Snuff is all natural leaf, for God's sake.
Yesterday, I was playing around with OpenShot, which is a free open source video editor. And I stuck up, I went out with my son and went to a Halloween Express, which is a costume store. And I shot some video of some of these animatronics that they had, slapped together a little short on it while I was playing with that YouTube video. I mean, that open shot. And it's got 802 views on it. And I guess it's because it's Halloween and it's just being pushed to everybody's YouTube stream.
You know what's so good about Halloween? It's just for the party. You know, it's just for fun.
Yeah, because they don't trick or treat anymore.
I mean, it doesn't matter what politics you are, what religion you are, what anything you are. Halloween is just fun. It's just for fun. It's a good holiday. It's not really a holiday, though, is it?
No. But, you know, when we were in Australia in 94, 95, we went out to Alice Springs, which is out in the middle of the country, out in the middle of freaking nowhere. And there's a big military installation there. They do all the seismic stuff. And according to the tour guide we had, they can hear a jet taking off in Tokyo at this listing post. Anyway, there's a huge population of Americans out there. And the guy said, he said, this is, at that time, was only one of the only places outside of the United States that dressed up as, I mean, you know, they had Halloween. And they said even the little Aborigine kids, they dressed up. And, you know, the local Australian kids, they all went trick-or-treating. And it was a big to-do. They had this little open-air market that we were at. And they said they have a big festival there every year. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Damn Americans taking their bullshit everywhere.
Halloween's kind of like Carnival, you know, Carnival.
Oh, no, it's not.
Well, a little bit.
Oh, it's not.
Dressing up in costumes and
one of my buddies
and drinking.
He was in Brazil. He had to go to Brazil during the Carnival down there.
That's the biggest party, isn't it?
He said it was him and his wife and their son. And their son was like 14 years old. And Janine said, I was only worried about 3 things while I was down there. One, that somebody didn't kill me, somebody didn't rob me, or that my son's virginity was intact before he got back to the United States. Because she said, but the liquor, the sex, was flowing like there was no tomorrow. Really cool. I didn't think the Londoners loosened up that much.
Yeah, it's a big deal all over.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of coincides with New Orleans Mardi
Mardi
Gras.
Gras.
Yeah, same type of deal. It's just a big party.
Lent, that's Catholic, right?
Do, 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 do.
Like that was in Brazil for Mardi Gras, for Carnival.
Todd gives out hundos. Actually, Halloween here, everybody goes down. It's a small town. Everybody goes downtown, and businesses and everybody shows up down there and gives candy to the kids downtown. Nobody trick or treats here, which is a good idea. It's a lot safer that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have kids
But Todd,
going up and down streets, knocking on doors. Everybody just takes their kids downtown. Everybody walks around the downtown square and
yeah, Glock.
The adults, they all sit on lawn chairs and talk, and the kids walk around grabbing candy from everybody that will give it to them.
My best friend lives in a pretty big subdivision, got big houses. And the first Halloween they lived out there, they ran out of candy. And Sandy thought she had too much because people were just bringing, they'd load up their kids and bring them out there, and they would just, because it was a closed neighborhood, one way in and one way out. They would just start on one side of the street, and they would go through all 300 houses and come out the other side. Well, the second year they decided they were just going to block off the street, and people would have to park out on the main road, and then they would have to walk in there. And he said that worked out pretty good because everybody was sitting in, they got their lawn chairs out, was sitting in the driveway, and like Sandy decorated a table with all kinds of crap, put her candy out on it. They just had a big old neighborhood party. He said they must have had 5,000 kids that year come out there. But no, nobody trick or treats. We had trick or treaters the first year we lived where we live. And after that, which everybody was older people, so there was no little kids out here to trick or treat. But it just kind of dropped off.
My dad was kind of a numbers guy, and for about 10 years in a row, he counted how many kids came to the door for Halloween. And some years there'd be up around 250 kids. I mean, we did trick or treating when I was little. I would get so much candy. I would get so much candy, I would sort it out and throw away all the stuff I didn't like.
Oh, my dad would take the stuff that we didn't like. We lived in Goose Creek, South Carolina, which is a suburb of Charleston, until I was 13. So there was a lot of good trick-or-treating years in before that, because back in those days, when you got to be 13, you didn't trick-or-treat anymore. You were too old. And anyway, the subdivision that we lived in, or not subdivision, the town we lived in was pretty much all military people lived there, civil servants, that type of thing. Not civil service, civil service. Military people, because Charleston had an Air Force base and a Navy, a huge Navy base, and it was just like one subdivision after another, all connected together. And so we would leave our house. My younger brother and I would leave our house, and he would have been, if I was 10, he was 7. So the two of us would go off with our group of neighbor friends, and we might be gone till 9 o'clock because that's when people start turning their lights off, which meant that they weren't open for business. And then we'd have to walk, all the way back to the house. But we would have grocery bags. I'm not talking about these little plastic things. I'm talking about the big paper garbage grocery bags full of candy. And we'd get back to our house, and especially on the school nights, it was really a bitch. But we would spread our candy out on the kitchen table, and my dad would pick out all the stuff he liked, which he liked all the stuff that we really didn't like. And so he ended up with quite a bit of his candy just off of what we didn't want. Those were the days, and those days are gone. And these kids don't know what kind of fun that was, because our mom and dads didn't go with us. It was like 10 of us.
I didn't like the plain licorice and stuff. I would just throw it away. But man, we would target the houses that had like candy apples and had
popcorn balls.
Popcorn balls.
Or the caramel.
I remember going back a second time to a place that had popcorn balls, and they recognized me, man. They were like, "Haven't you already been here?"
When we were,
I said, "Yeah, but I already ate it."
Of course, Maggie would be in the bars as a child. And the costumes back in them days were, if the fabric part of it made it through the night, you were doing good. And it had those plastic masks that you couldn't breathe out of. And and it's really sad. Times change and all. I understand that, but it's sad that little kids don't have that excitement anymore, because it was exciting. And I remember our teachers. I remember our teacher would say, "If I see any candy out, I'm confiscating it." We had this one male teacher. He must have had as much candy as any child in that class had, because they would have it out. They'd get a piece out and try to sneak a piece, and he'd just hold his hand out.
Right, 24K, put on a blonde wig, and insist that you be first.
Just have a bad attitude. So
Yeah, I can't afford Halloween candy this year. I'm paying my taxes.
It's sad that little kids just don't have the excitement in it that we did back in the dark ages. Christmas was a big deal. Christmas is when we got that's when we got all our toys and stuff
not, like Anissa.
Now Christmas is
just take your hair and rat it all out. And put on a nasty old kimono dress. I mean moo dress, and make sure you spray water on your armpits so it looks like you're sitting there sweating. Yeah.
Speaking of sweating, I was watching. I am a big Lost in Space, the original Lost in Space fan, because that was on when I was a small child, and I always thought Will Robinson was so cool. Mm-hmm. And I was watching this thing on YouTube yesterday, and it was an interview with Billy Mooney, Will Robinson, and he said it was so hot on those stages, those sound stages, when they were filming that if you look at the costumes, you'd see like all the sweat in their armpits from the actors, in their costumes and whatnot. So I thought that was interesting. It's one of these people who have entirely nothing else to do except sit there and analyze these videos frame by frame. So anyhow, Todd, it's 10:04. I gotta go.
Yeah, it's, I don't know why. Post office is closed. You don't have to take packages today. Yeah, it's a good show. We've conquered,
Now, is
but
that
it's still, the
what?
theme of my show today is why can't the government live on the incredible amount of money I'm sending them in this check?
Well,
Anissa doesn't want the show to end because if the show ends, then she has to go work.
we'll go over to Beth's show.
I got to I got the new pool cover sitting in the living room. I need to open it up and get it pulled out. And it's a pain putting out a pool cover.
Oh, a pool cover.
Yeah.
I thought you said a bull cover, and I'm like, when did you get livestock?
Yeah. Got to keep a few bulls and goats and cows and stuff to eat the grass around my oil wells.
No, back in the dark ages when I was in high school, I had friends that were 4-H members, and one of my friends had a prize bull that he showed, and you've seen the horse blanket things that you put on horses that you put it around them, and it's got Velcro to hold it, closed around them. He had one of those for his bull, and you would have thought that bull was just going to eat you alive, but he just lead him around like a dog. 4-H, like you know what 4-H is? Well, I don't. We don't got time to get into that. Google 4-H. I don't even remember what the 4-H's stand for.
It was heart, health, home, and something else. Heart.
Horticulture.
No. Heart, home, health. I can't remember. 4-H or preparation age. Yeah.
Head, heart, hands, and health.
Head, heart. Oh, hands. It wasn't home.
No.
Heart,
Head,
health.
heart, hands, and health.
Yeah. That was part of agricultural America mostly. I wasn't in 4-H. I was in Boy Scouts, but I wasn't in 4-H.
Part of the FFA. That was a big.
Yeah.
That was a big thing too. Future Farmers
Still
of
is.
America.
FFA is still a good program, but you kind of
So
have
there.
to be in an agricultural situation to want to participate. Okay,
Yeah.
here's Sadie's version. Hellfire, heart, health, hand. That was a good laugh there at the end. All right. Folks, we'll see you tomorrow on Tom, the Queen City Pickers channel at
Yeah.
8 a.m. Central, 7 a.m. No, 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah. The only time zone.
Be there or be square. And then Wednesday, is Scott going to be back from Vegas to do
I
his
don't
show?
know. I don't know.
I can't
You
wait
never
to
know.
hear the
Scott might.
stories.
I mean, Scott might end up in Nebraska someplace.
Him and
You never.
Harlan are going to have some great stories from Vegas, I'm sure, when they
Yeah.
get back to the show.
All righty.
Yeah.
Later, guys.
Bye.